Welcome to the Close to Home podcast. Thanks for tuning in. We are back with a brand new episode today that I am very excited about. We have the one, the only Nikki Benson in the house. Yay!
Boss Lady Mortgage.
Boss Lady Mortgage here to help you with all your mortgage needs. I love it. I'm so excited to have you today.
I'm so excited to be here. You have no idea. You were like my role model.
Oh gosh, I don't know if that's a good role model to have.
Well, I mean, if you mean fabulous and successful.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Well, thank you so much for coming in. Now, it's so great to have you, and we have you for a very specific reason because you are the one, the only Nikki Benson, and you are the first-time home buyer queen, basically.
Thank you.
Right? So
I love helping first-time home buyers.
Yes,
it's my jam.
you love first-time home buyers. You have taught over 100 down payment assistance classes in the past 12 months to first-time home buyers. And you're an amazing lender at Caliber Home Loans.
Thank you.
So I want you to tell me exactly what your intro is, but I'm also going to give the audience a little background. Okay. So when Nikki was a toddler, she used to wake up at 6 a.m. and crawl to her parents' door to play. Her parents were annoyed, but they couldn't help but crack a smile and play with her because she was such a happy baby. She just loved being around people, which I think is very clear. When she was 5 years old, she fell in love with numbers. They were absolute and they would never fool her. That's true.
That's right.
Unless you're deceitful, but you're not. And then she's been a math whiz ever since. So putting together her love of people and numbers, it's no wonder that her first job in 2001 was working at a bank. In 2012, Nikki branched out from general consumer lending and received her license to originate mortgages. In 2015, she found her home at Caliber Home Loans, which is the best place for her to do business. I agree. Why is it the best place for her to do business? Well, there are a couple ways. She works with the same processor on all loans and works in the same office as that processor. Her underwriters and funders work out of their Kirkland operations office. Their appraisers are 8 to 10 miles away, which is super important because appraisers need to know the area that they're appraising in. Thank you.
You want to get accurate values.
Exactly. And Caliber services a majority of their loans. And what does that mean? It means that if you ever need anything after your loan closes, that you can contact Nikki directly as opposed to a 1-800 number. So she's committed to being your lender for life, which I love. One you can count on not only to assist you, but to also be your family, friend, and coworker. Hey, there she is.
Thank you so much.
Yes, so thank you so much for coming. That's a little bit about Nikki. Don't be embarrassed. That's a great intro.
Thank you.
Living from the heart. But tell us a little bit about yourself in your own words.
Well, I'm 36 years old, married for 3 years, just celebrated my 3rd anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I live on Beacon Hill. I have lived there for the past 13 years, so I love to just, stay where I'm at. I'm very stable.
Yeah.
Love the neighborhood, love helping people, but I just really found my home in the past couple of years helping first-time home buyers because I just love the relationship that I have with them, the education process, the gratitude, the camaraderie, that I am you, it all is, I find myself often helping people that are similar age as me, that are far my senior, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity as well. But it's like I just find a home. It's like you like to help people that are like you, and I just have so much in common with the experience of first-time home buyers, and I just love it because the business can be heading towards more of a digital age, which we all know, and where I find that people value that relationship, the hand-holding, the interaction most is in the heart of a first-time home buyer. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's my jam. That's who I am. That's what I love to do, and that's what I'm an expert in.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree, and so happy to have you here. We have a common love for first-time home buyers,
High
I
five,
think.
homie.
Yep. Hey. Because it is true, like it's such an impactful experience for them to do that their first time, and it's often very scary. And so it's just great to have a wonderful team on your side to really take you through everything, and someone who's willing to really I find it so valuable when a mortgage originator or mortgage officer is so willing to text or call you, and it's not just during business hours, and
Yep.
it's what are the numbers on this, because that will truly guide the decision that they make, and they need to understand that full stop and feel confident in it.
Yeah.
So that's
Thank
awesome.
you so much for having me.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. I'm so happy you're here.
Yay.
So let's dive into our topic here at hand. We're going to talk about down payment assistance. And this kind of came up as something that we wanted to talk about, not only because we've been teaching down payment assistance classes or first-time homebuyer classes, but also because I think that it's something that not many buyers that could qualify understand or know about in Washington State. So this is a program specific to Washington State. Tell us a little bit about the program and what are the qualifications for buyers, and where does that money come from that helps them?
Okay, good questions. So first and foremost, what is the down payment assistance program? So there are a few programs out there, but one very popular that's offered through Washington State Housing Finance Commission is called the Home Advantage Program. And how that program works is if you make less than $145,000 a year, which that recently got bumped up. It used to be 97,000 or something like that, but now it's 145, which is great because here, people make a lot more money. I just saw an article that said if you make $100,000 in Seattle that you're broke.
Yep, yeah, it's basically true.
Which is, so people need down payment assistance, whether you're making, maybe you think you're doing great at $90,000 a year or 100 or 110, but you still might not have 20% down or whatever, $50,000 hanging out in your bank account to go buy a house with. So it's very helpful for a broad range of people.
Yeah.
There's different programs per area that you live in, but the most commonly used is Home Advantage, which can be used statewide. As long as you're making $145,000 or less per year and you have a credit score of 620 or higher, you can or you may qualify for down payment assistance through Home Advantage. And what we would do, or where you get the money from, is through the state. It's a state-funded program where they give you a second loan, and you can use that second loan to pay for your down payment and a portion of your closing costs. That second loan does not have any interest charged on it through the entire life of the loan. For certain programs, the one I'm talking about, there's no interest on. And there's also no payments required, which is really nice because it can just hang out there, and the highest and best use for the program is to pay that second loan off with proceeds from either refinancing the home or selling the house. So let's say you buy your first house, you get this second down payment assistance loan to pay for your entire down payment amount, which it might be 3 to 3.5% depending on how we do it. But it pays for your entire down payment, a portion of your closing costs. You have it out there. 3 to 5 years later, you sell your house and you have all this appreciation from the house. And so you might have proceeds of, 50, 70,000. Who knows how much it is depending on your purchase price. But from your proceeds, you would then pay off this second loan that has been sitting there, not gaining any interest. You haven't had to make any payments on it, so it isn't impacting your debt to income ratio or, how you pay your bills each month, I should say.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know if that was a little convoluted.
I think that's super helpful. And tell me again, where does the money come from that you get?
It comes from the state. So it's sponsored through Washington State Housing Finance Commission. It's through them.
Right.
But You know, you don't have to do anything special, or it's just like a normal loan that you would get, except you don't have to put up your own down payment. So I've been able to help people with very little money. You know, it changes the paradigm where you have to have all this money to be able to buy a house, to a paradigm where if you have stable income and low debts, anyone can buy a house.
Right. Literally anyone. If
Anyone
you're
can
not
buy a
making
house.
that 145,000, which is such a high number, actually.
It is a high number.
It's amazing.
Even if you're making $120,000 a year, that's $10,000 a month. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, totally.
You know, you can still get down payment assistance, even if you're making that much money, which sounds crazy, but you can.
Right. Yes, because most people, the biggest hurdle to buying a home is actually getting that down payment and saving that up. So even if you are making $100,000 in Seattle per year, it's still really difficult to put any money away, especially if you're renting, to be able to have a down payment. Mm-hmm. And so with this program, you can actually get that second loan and have a larger down payment, or have a down payment to begin with, to be able to buy your home, and then probably actually pay less than you might pay in rent, especially if you're looking in downtown Seattle.
Yes.
So as an example, like, let's say I am going to buy a $400,000 house, and I don't have any money to put down, and I make less than $145,000 per year, and I have a credit score of greater than 620. Mm-hmm. What am I qualified to get on a $400,000 purchase?
So, as far as the second loan amount?
Right, exactly.
$15,520.
Okay, so then with that second loan, not including the mortgage, mm-hmm. I get $15,520 as my down payment, mm-hmm. Which is over 3%, like about 3.5%. Mm-hmm. And I can use that as my down payment. It doesn't have interest on it. And it can be paid off if I refinance my purchase or if I sell my home. Mm-hmm. Now, let's play out the worst case scenario. If you were not to gain equity, which we don't think will really happen in Seattle, at least not in the foreseeable future, that would be due to be paid off when I did sell the home.
Yes.
Okay. So you can have
30
it.
Years,
you can have it for 30 years.
Yep.
If you don't make money on your sale.
You could have it even if you do make. Oh wait, say that again.
So if I sold my $400,000 condo and I weren't making money on that sale, I would need to pay off that $15,520.
Yes,
but the ideal is that you hold on to it for 5 to 10 years. You get some equity gain in your purchase, and then you can pay that off when you go to sell it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Or you could refinance and pay it off.
Yep. And I prefer that option to some of the other options where they have down payment assistance where the second party is an equity investor, which I do not recommend that, because what they'll do is they'll give you part of your down payment, but then they sign papers where they get 20% of your equity.
Right.
When you go to sell the house and you have to pay, it's like, how about no? How about I keep all of my equity and not pay any interest for the second loan?
Yeah, how about I do the other thing that's even better? Yeah. So it almost feels too good to be true. Like, what are some of the hurdles that buyers might need to go through in order to qualify for this?
Well, some buyers, if they're not ready immediately to purchase, it's usually one of two things. They might have debts that they need to pay down, is one thing, or credit issues, which is a similar thing of debts. Like, what if you have an old collection you weren't aware of and you find out and now you have to pay that down and wait some time? Those are mostly the hurdles that if you're not ready to buy right away.
Right, yeah. So debt and credit.
Debts and credits.
Yeah.
It's usually what stops a person from being able to buy. Or if they just need some more time with their work, because you have to be working, have a 2-year work history.
Yeah.
We can include time in school if it was, let's say you're studying to be an accountant in college or software engineer.
You can count that time.
You can count your school time as
as work.
As employment.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
But you would want to have a job that's a full-time salary job because we want to make sure that you're stable enough to buy.
Right, yeah. So what do we do if someone does have like a collection on their credit report or, has some debt to pay down? Do they wait to talk to you until that's done, or what do they do?
It's similar to going to see a doctor. Like, let's say you see that you have a rash, which you just want to go online. Some people use WebMD.
No, thank you.
Use the prescribed cream. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god. I'd rather get into the rabbit hole of WebMD.
Yikes. And also, that's a good point as far as a rabbit hole, because it can be very scary once you don't know what it is you're looking at or dealing with, and you might catastrophize what it is you're looking at more so than a professional would.
Oh yeah.
So I definitely recommend get yourself pre-approved, preferably with me, because why not? Get yourself pre-approved and find out what are the actual steps to take to be ready.
Yeah.
And then I can detail it out. I work directly with my credit reporting company. So I'm not a credit counselor. However, I do work directly with my credit reporting company who can say, do X, Y, Z specifically, wait this amount of time specifically, and then we just do it. Yeah,
and work on getting that credit back.
Yeah, you don't have to pay a membership fee. You don't have to, sign up for anything. It's just simple common sense and, doing the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not an industry.
Yeah, don't go onto Google and Google everything you possibly can before you talk to someone who's an expert in the field. Yeah. Because you're right. What did you say? Catastrophize? Catastrophize. You will catastrophize it. Honestly, so many people go online, and this is the same for home buying, and read these things that are not pertinent to Seattle or not pertinent to, the buying experience, but people have said, or the Seattle Times has reported on, that might not be true, or the data might not be accurate. So that's when numbers can lie, I think, is when people twist them the wrong way.
Definitely.
And it's just so important to talk to someone who knows what they're doing and has helped other people do it at the onset. So as soon as if I want to buy that condo in 2 years, I should talk to you today to figure out what I need to do in the next 2 years to be ready for that.
Definitely. And that's where we work in partnership together, because we want to set proper expectations. Because I've talked to people who maybe they want a 4-bedroom house in Seattle and they have a $200,000 budget.
Yeah.
We have to talk to work together where they have proper expectations for that goal.
Yeah.
So we know at the end of that time what's realistic.
Yeah.
And I've even talked to people in the stage of, listen, if you want this lifestyle, you need to look hard in the mirror and decide how hard are you willing to work for it, because you might have to get a different career.
Yeah.
To be honest,
yeah.
And I've had those kinds of conversations, and I think those are really where a person gets the most value, because you're not just talking about a transaction. This is planning your life.
Yeah.
And planning your future. And, a lot can happen in 2 years.
Totally. Especially when it comes to finances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it's planning your life. So, you might want to get married, have children. What is it going to take to be able to provide the lifestyle for what you've been dreaming about since you were a kid?
Right. Yeah. Now, I want to back up for a second. So what about people who are self-employed? So we talked about work history. Can they qualify for this program?
Absolutely. Self-employed or W-2 income can qualify for this program. When we're looking at self-employment income, I definitely want you to talk to me, because we're looking at your income differently than if you were W-2 employee.
Right.
And then we need to talk about how you're filing your taxes. Because that's a very important conversation for how much you want to qualify for. We look at it different. You're going to have to just wrap your mind around, you're going to have to start paying taxes, and quite a bit of them. Stop writing everything off. If you want to qualify for the home of your dreams, stop writing everything off, including the kitchen sink. Because we want as much net income, not gross. We want as much net income as we can get, because that's the number we'll use to qualify you to buy a house.
Got it. Okay, cool.
And 2 years, no work, no schooling. 2 years,
2 years
tax returns.
Yeah. Yep.
for.
When you're self-employed or
Self-employed,
W-2.
yep.
Got it. So are there any other requirements that buyers have to go through to get this?
Well, you have to attend a class.
Oh, okay. What's that? Tell us more about that.
You will have the opportunity to come hang out with us for up to 5 hours. And we are going to be talking about all the ins and outs of the entire down payment assistance process. We'll talk about in detail what we've talked about here, except we'll actually have a PowerPoint detailing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, here's step 1, here's step 2, here's step 3. This is what you have to do next. This is what you expect next. This is who's who. How do you buy a house in a buyer's market versus a seller's market? What are your priorities? What are contingencies? Everything you need to know from start to finish we cover in the class. And we teach those at least once a month, maybe up to 3 times a month together. So talk to this handsome gentleman right here.
Maybe we should advocate for a webinar version of it.
I wish.
That would be kind of fun. Probably can't do that.
So
but
amazing.
Yeah, you have to come in person to the office for now.
Yeah.
You have to come in person for the office and you can see those classes on our website. Or what is the official website?
So again, it's through Washington State Housing Finance Commission. So it's wshfc.org.
Got it. And you can just Google that. That's when you need Google, not to figure out your credit score, to find Washington State Housing Finance Commission. Exactly.
Yeah.
So tell us, Nikki, tell us a story about a client you've worked with who's used the down payment assistance program and how it helped them and sort of the impact you saw and what they were able to do.
Mm-hmm. So this is my favorite story. I didn't have to prepare it because I knew it was going to be my favorite success story even before we closed for her on her purchase. But a woman came to me, a single mom. She happened to have been a veteran, 16-year-old son, and wants to buy a home. First time thinking about it, didn't know what to do. She came to me, we did her pre-approval, and she had $126 in her account at the time. Through the whole process, she didn't have more than $1,000 the entire time, and she was able to buy a home. And it was, we had some credit issues to work out first. We got her credit increased to the point where she could qualify within 2 months. And everything I told her to do, she did it. It was just like, okay, 1, 2, 3, okay, do this, do this, do this. There were times, I will admit, she was discouraged, and she said, well, maybe home ownership isn't just for me. Maybe I'm not meant to own a home. And that's, again, it's like, being a loan consultant is, I would say, more of a therapist job than just running numbers, at least the way that I do it. It's like, no, why do you think you're any inferior, or why are you inferior to people who can own homes? Yeah. And it's a mindset. And, we had to keep returning her back to, no, this is possible for you. This is possible for you. Even when we discovered in the middle of her transaction that she experienced tax fraud. Wow. Which this is very rare. Hopefully you don't experience tax fraud as a consumer, but it takes 6 months to fix. We were in contract for her to buy a home. We were in a 30-day contract. We didn't have 6 months, but, me advocating for my client was able to go to the head of underwriting, the head of the servicing department, and get an exception where we changed the rule for her. So we were able to use what she had to close her loan. Because in a typical situation, we would not have closed that loan. Yeah. You just can't do that when you're in the middle of resolving tax fraud. But this was a situation, and we were able to make it work. So that was my moment where I got to be a hero for her. We brought her a bottle of champagne on closing date. I went to actually where she got her keys. I usually don't go out for keys. I go to loan signings, but not usually when they give them the key. Yeah. But I went for this one, and just to bask in the joy of her accomplishment. Yeah. And she did it, and no one can ever take that away from her, that she's a homeowner right now. And she never had, at any point, had more than $1,000 to her name. Wow. We made it work.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so special too. just knowing that you can help someone do that who never thought they could.
That's the joy of it.
Yeah, absolutely. That is so cool. Well, thank you for sharing that story. Okay, anything else you think people should know about the down payment assistance program?
Yeah, just, it matters who you work with. So come to us. I mean, like you're finding out about this from us. And we're great, so you don't have to look any further.
Yeah. Just come on in and see us.
But I mean, come to a class. It's like I've had people. I post about it on social media all the time, and people are like kind of nervous, like, oh, I wonder if I can qualify, or I don't know where to start. But you don't have to. All you have to know is that you want to do it. Mm-hmm. And we'll take care of the rest. It's our job to be the experts in it. Yeah, and you might hear about attending a class and think like, oh, that's a little too overwhelming or too much of a commitment. But we try to make it fun, first of all. Mm-hmm. And second of all, really, if you are considering buying a house, the education is one of the most important parts. And I think that's why we vibe too, because we place such a large emphasis on educating people, because your transaction is going to be so much better if you understand what's going on or what the roadblocks could be before you start the process. And I think that's something that not a lot of people think about. They might choose an agent or a mortgage lender, based on the internet or whatever, the first person that they're recommended. But really having someone who understands and can also educate you is so essential to the process. And I loved what you said in our last class, stop commoditizing the real estate professionals in the industry, because it's true. I say it to myself all the time now. Good. I'm glad.
But it's so true. It's so true, because it's really not a commodity. You have to find the right person to help you through it.
Definitely.
Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox now.
No, it's good. It's a good soapbox. And, it's good timing. I just, I mentioned to you I'm coming back from a trip. I was traveling all day yesterday. I had an appointment this morning at 7:30 a.m. at my office with a couple who first-time home buyers. They're actually not even going to be using the down payment assistance program, but we just at my desk went through the slides of the home buying process.
Right.
So that they could be prepared. And I think it's a good use of us as people to, find out, even if you don't want to use down payment assistance, get the education. Yeah. Because it'll just empower you, and that, that lights up our life as well, to say, hey, let's get you ready for this this journey and investment, and and start now. Like, don't wait until you feel that you're prepared. Right. Even if, we've gotten, and I've already said that many times, as far as you don't have to have XYZ to be able to start. But, one other thing I just want to put into this conversation is, because some people are fixed in their mind that they need to have 20% down before they buy a home. And because that's what they said, that's what they were told. They don't want to have to pay mortgage insurance. But I showed a couple clients this morning when I met with them, listen, you're going to be paying, and their situation was their personal situation. So I'm not saying how much mortgage insurance will cost for you as a consumer, but in their case, it was only $1,200 a year. Right. And they're looking at buying a $600,000 home, where in a year, conservatively, that home might be worth $636,000. Right. So if they were to wait to have 20% down, look at your compound appreciation over a couple years. How much is your house gonna be worth in 2 years versus the $2,400 in mortgage insurance? Yeah. It just doesn't make sense to wait. Right. Yeah. Yeah. If your home's appreciating even at a conservative rate of 3% per year, that's super conservative in this market. Paying $100 a month, it just makes sense to leverage your money, especially as interest rates are so low, and get into something if you can. I mean, that's my goal. Yep, and consult a tax advisor on what a benefit it is to write off that mortgage interest as well. Absolutely. Thinking just financially, does it make the most sense? Yeah. It's the whole picture, setting up your whole picture. Yes.
Well, cool.
Said a bunch of different things and got in
I
a
love
bunch of
it.
different
I
directions.
love it.
but-
I love it. Can't wait to see you at our next class.
Yes.
It's going to be great. And thanks so much for being in here. So lovely having you.
It's my joy, my pleasure, my honor. I met this guy at a conference, Young Persons Network last year, where he was on a panel talking about how successful he is and how to get there. And I was... Which you guys should know this. You know, I'm looking at a picture of him on like a magazine cover, top agent. Is that it? Did you make that yours? Anyway, but
No, I didn't make that myself.
did your mom make it? No.
No, I hope not.
You
No,
know,
she didn't.
I have been, kind of bobbing around him for a while, and I'm so honored to be able to work with you and do this. This is definitely a dream come true for me to be invited to be here with you. So.
Well, right back at you. Thank you for being here.
High five, goddammit. Thank you.
All right. Thank you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
So you can find me on Instagram at Boss Lady Mortgage. And on Facebook, just Nikki Benson. I do have a professional Facebook page, Nikki Benson, your preferred lender. However, just send me a friend request. That's my preferred.
And we'll spell your name, but it's Nikki.
Nikki, like the
No
sassy
C's.
way.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
love
2
it.
Ks.
Join us the third Saturday of November if you want to come to our down payment assistance / first time home buyer class.
Or third Saturday of any month.
Or third Saturday of any month. We'll be here at the office in Capitol Hill. So you can find it on our Facebook page or on
WSHFC.org.
Great. Teamwork in action. So you can sign up there. Just send Nikki an email. We'll include her email in the show notes and let us know you're coming.
Yes, we'd love to see you anytime, or reach out if you have a question. Maybe you just want to talk or figure out your situation. We're here for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. See you next time.
See you next time.